The 10th of July, at around 5 in the afternoon. Do you remember what you were doing? Well, I do. I was up in the mountains trying to fix the car when I looked at my phone. I looked at my phone and I had 8 missed phone calls. 8 missed phone calls from the chief lifeguard at Echo Beach. I knew something was wrong, and I instantly thought about my family. But let's start at the beginning. As the middle child, born and raised, life was exactly as you'd expect it to be. My older brother and I constantly competing against each other, and my younger sister and I constantly challenging each other. I mean, you know what it's like to have a little sister. You may know this about me, but any sport I take part in, winning is the only option. So you can imagine the competition I had with my brother, I took pretty serious. Like most boys, I had a dream. I had the dream of becoming a professional football player. It was all I wanted, and I was willing to give it my all. And in 2018, we became the national champions of the Netherlands. Apart from the football dream I had another dream. A dream of living somewhere tropical where I'd be able to surf every single day. And with the dream of my parents wanting to give us a different perspective of life, that dream became reality when in 2020, my family and I decided to move to Bali. Immediately after arriving in Bali, I started surfing. It could be found in the water every day, and often twice a day. And I remember surfing after a big rain, surfing the used diapers, plastic, and if you're lucky, even a dead pig. I had an interesting thought. How can we as surfers who are supposed to love the ocean be one of the main polluters? The surfboard industry emits nearly half of the CO2 emitted in the entire surfing industry. This is mainly due to the highly chemical and toxic materials included in each surfboard. And so, at the beginning of grade 11, I had my first Greenstone. I wanted to create a surfboard that had a smaller environmental impact while still holding the performance of a normal surfboard. At the end of grade 11, I managed to finish the first prototype. This prototype is made out of a blend of recycled and natural materials. The EPS foam is 30% recycled. The fiberglass is made out of natural material called fiber flex seeds. As coating to finish it off, I used bio-epoxy. But apart from the unsustainability in the surfing industry, there's a much larger problem. Safety. Back to that 10th of July. I immediately called back Arya, the chief lifeguard at Echo Beach. He told me that my sister had gone into a surfing accident. I called my parents, and it wasn't long before they were on the way to the clinic at which my sister was at with Arya. In the meantime, I FaceTimed my sister. She was panicking. She was scared. She was alone. Her white t-shirt wrapped around her head had now turned dark red. She slowly calmed down and was able to explain what had happened. My parents then arrived at the local clinic. We were immediately told this injury was way too severe to handle at this clinic, and so they had to go to Siloam. Bali, being Bali, took nearly 2 hours for an ambulance to arrive. Nearly 3 hours after the accident, my sister finally arrived at Siloam, where she had an immediate CT scan. This CT scan showed the injury was way more severe than we thought. This CT scan showed that the injury was way more severe than we thought. I then got a call from my mum. My sister had to get an immediate brain surgery that same night. I finally arrived at Siloam, where I finally saw my sister. She was still conscious, but getting tired, and we knew she was heading into high-risk brain surgery. My whole world changed there. Suddenly, my sister, who I'd been surfing with every single day, was now heading into her brain surgery. Her surgery started at midnight. 4 nerve-wracking long hours later, the neurosurgeon finally came out. He said the surgery went well. He then showed us the 5 by 5 centimeter skull he'd removed from my sister's head. Though, it wasn't just a skull. It's my sister's skull with a 3 centimeter tip of a surfboard inside it. Because what had happened is another guy had hit my sister with his surfboard, and that penetrated through her skull. The next 3 days, my sister spent on the ICU here in Bali before she was medically evacuated to Singapore. She spent another 2 weeks on the ICU and a couple weeks recovering with my mum before she was ready and fit to fly back to Bali. To this day, all doctors say it's a miracle she's with us, and even more the fact that she's almost fully recovered. She's currently back in school and can enjoy playing sports, and even surfs again. To me, it all became clear. Enough is enough. Something has to change. Not just for Rooijen, but for everyone. Mamuli surf was born. Mamuli is a symbol from Sumba, representing the origin, protection, and nurturing of life, represented by a woman's womb. And then, when I started this project, there was only 2 real surfing helmet brands. And so I started asking the surfing community here in Bali if they had tried them before, what they thought about those helmets. I often heard the same thing. The pressure points gave them headaches, and the tight spacing on the earrings caused a disbalance while surfing. An analogy I often use is that while skiing and snowboarding 20 years ago, no one wore a helmet. I'm sure you old people can tell me more about that. Well, for me growing up, everyone wore a helmet. This transition is slowly starting to happen in the surfing industry, and I want to accelerate that. So I started development of the first sketch prototypes. It all started with hours and hours of sketching, when I finally had 3 sketch prototypes. I then quickly moved to the 3D modeling. And as easy as that sounds, as hard as that was. And I quickly found somebody who could help me. He said the first 3D model would take him about 2 weeks, though those 2 weeks turned out to be a little bit longer. When 2 months later, I finally got a reply again. And he said, "I'm sorry, bro, I'm too busy." So what choice did I have? I took things in my own hands. I did an industrial design course at the Technical University of Delft and spent days and days trying to figure out how to 3D model a helmet. And with the help of various people around me, we managed to finish the first Mamuli 3D model. As soon as we solved the first problem, it wasn't long before the second one came up. Money. I learned that for 2 different size helmets, I needed to invest into a molding, and a mold cost $20,000. On top of that, I had to order a minimum amount of 500 surf helmets. My bank account doesn't look good, and surf stores don't sell hundreds of helmets a day. So at that point, I just wanted to give up. I then learned about Kickstarter, a platform that allows brands to pre-sell unreleased products in order to then help fund the launch of a new brand. And so I started creating community. I started Mamuli's Instagram. I started posting behind the scenes and weekly updates. And I quickly got attention. I started getting followers, day-to-day surfers, surf brands, and professional surfers. And then the owner of Board Riders at Echo Beach reached out to me, and he said he wants to sell my helmet in the Board Riders store. Finally, after so many struggles, it finally felt like I was on the right track again. I remember listening to this podcast and hearing something I resonated with. In life, everything is an input, a process, and an output. As simple as algebra, right? Well, life isn't exactly as simple as that. It's about consistently showing up and overcoming those challenges. Trust me, I'm no millionaire. In fact, I only owe money to people. But this was a reminder to me throughout my whole project that results don't come overnight. Finally, 5 weeks before Greenstone, we committed to investing into the prototyping stage. You're right, the prototyping stage also takes 5 weeks. So that meant I sent thousands of emails, messages asking for updates and making adjustments, all in the hope the helmet would be done in time for Greenstone. Today, exactly 1 week ago, I flew out to personally pick up the helmet and discuss about our future collaborations. This is the world's first sustainable surfing helmet. This helmet is made out of a mix of recycled materials, and most importantly, it will save lives. Last Sunday, I went and tested the helmet for the first time, and this is how it went. Surfing is a beautiful sport that connects us to nature, but it shouldn't come at the cost of safety. Mamuli is more than just a helmet. It's a movement to reshape the safety levels in surfing. This project was only possible because of this place called Greenstone, and because of the special support I received from this community. While Mamuli's public Kickstarter launch will begin early next school year, I'm excited to share that starting right now, pre-orders will be exclusively available to the Green School community at a 20% discount. If you want to support, you can scan either of the following QR codes. All the funds from both the pre-orders of helmets, t-shirts, and donations will go directly into the mold. Go directly into the mold investment needed for a size small, medium, and large, for both children and adults. As I wrap up, I have almost a Bible of people to thank, because as cliche as it sounds, I could not possibly be here today without the following people. Dan Mitchell, who's been my mentor from the beginning of Greenstone. The Greenstone team, Ibu Kate, Big Benjamin, Big Jeff, Manan, Brooke, Luke, and Dawa. My mom and dad, not only for the endless answers to my questions, but for the continuous belief in me, even when I didn't. And last, Rooijen. Not only for being an amazing little sister, but you inspired me. You're the reason. For your reason, I'm standing up here today presenting this project. For me, winning is the only option. I'm on a mission to make surfing safer. Thank you.